And he found a process where he used a very, very low voltage current into an injured part of your body, whatever it was, and the body would actually regrow everything that was there back.
Hello, Intactivist. Today I have a special guest with me today, Randall Callison. How are you today?
I'm good.
Awesome. So, for those who don't know who you are, Randall, who are you?
So just a guy just trying to live a normal life. I kind of, just graduated high school, didn't really know. Well, I did know what I wanted to do. I wanted to be an astronaut, this, that, and the other. Kind of shelved that for a little while. This is kind of a long story. I don't know how long you want me to go on that.
Hey, it's up to you, man. It's your
Oh,
show.
okay.
Yeah.
So I'll try to make it short. Anyway, I wanted to be an astronaut. That didn't quite work out well because I'm not very good at math. So I'll go into the intactivist part or the anti-circumcision part because I think that's kind of where we're going. I was working for a trucking company in Troutdale, Oregon, and I was having some difficulty with urination, I guess if you want to just I'll just go with that. So I went to the doctor and he said I was fine. I asked him, if I could have a second opinion. He said sure. So he gave me a referral to another doctor. And I went to that doctor. And as I was waiting in the waiting room for the nurse to call me in, the table was just loaded with magazines. So I looked down. I was just kind of, glancing over, and I saw this Men's Health magazine, and it had a baby on it, and it said, I think it said, "Mommy, where's my foreskin?" So I was like, okay, what's that about? So because I didn't know, I just thought as how it was as I was born, that's how we were supposed to look. I didn't know anything about it. So I picked it up, started reading, and about the fourth paragraph, I just went into like a shock. I was like, what the heck is this? And so, I got done with that and I kind of shelved it for a little while because I kind of had to process it. And this was back in 97, 98, I think. It's been a long time. I don't remember the exact year, but I believe it was 97, 98. Anyway, like again, I kind of shelved it for a little while and internet started. And so I kind of got on the internet and started looking at stuff. And I just was like, wow, this is not cool. So I found the restoration websites. I can't remember what they were back then, and started doing a little bit of it, and I kind of stopped, and now I've started back up again. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. Um, just here in Central Oregon, working 6 years till retirement. Kind of looking forward to that. But that's kind of where I'm at right now.
Okay, so do you have like a preference when it comes to a restoration device?
So I've tried to wear a few different devices, but I was working with a guy at DTR, Chuck, and he gave me one that I gave the specifications on, and it wasn't still quite right. So the best success I've had is manual tugging and just keeping it covered with O-rings, and that seems to be working out really, really well. So yeah.
Okay. So would you consider yourself in the foreskin restoration crowd then, like versus foraging?
So I'm glad you asked that because yeah, I think both things are good. I have looked at 4gen. I know what they're doing. I think that they could have some success with that, but I have a question about how they're going to get the nerves to grow into um, the donor tissue. That's my only question. So anyway.
Okay. Another question I have about the foreskin restoration crowd is that there's this narrative going around that foreskin restoration cares more about becoming whole again as much as they can versus actually going out and convincing people, hey, don't cut your babies, don't circumcise them.
Right.
How true is that from your experience with the foreskin restoration crowd?
I guess I would say from and I'm just going on my own experience, I think that the foreskin restoration, actually, I'm not quite sure. I think it's good on both sides. I think again, I watched that one video where you said there was it's like 215,000 people within the intactivist movement. So I think I think the word is getting out. I think people are kind of waking up to it, which is good. But I also think there's a lot of men who are restoring, what was lost, which is also good. So I think it's a good balance, I guess. I just would I would hope that the movement would gain more momentum and get more people on board, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Okay, so besides restoring, have you done any other things for intactivism? Like,
I just kind of been a keyboard intactivist. I'm on Facebook with the Bloodstained Men and all all the intactivist friends I've been able to get as friends, and just kind of, hey, let's get this stopped. This is just ridiculous. This should never have happened. So I would like to join the Midwest circumcision crisis protest next year, 2024. So I am planning on doing that.
okay, so what is your favorite intactivist group?
Oh my gosh. I guess there's a lot. Bloodstained Man, Intact America, Doctors Opposing Circumcision. I guess Forgen for that aspect of it. The doctor, oh shoot, I have his book. Dr. Goldman, I think it's circumcision.org. And his book, Circumcision, the Hidden Trauma, a real big, I love that book. I mean, it goes through the whole thing, trauma, injury, the whole thing. So I like that aspect.
Okay, but you don't have like a group where you're like, oh, I know the board members, I like these people.
Oh,
Um, like,
I was doing a little bit of work for GalDef, but and this is not a criticism of them, but I think they're going in a good direction, but not really the direction I was kind of hoping they would go. So I did drop out. But they're doing good work too. I'm not trying to criticize them, but they're just going in a different direction.
so what direction did you want them to go in?
Well, I kind of wanted them to be more. I don't really want to say I'm a lawyer, but I'm kind of I researched the law a lot. So I kind of wanted them to. I know they are getting a war chest going for lawsuits, which is good, but I was kind of hoping they would get people who actually really want to start filing lawsuits, get that huge group of people together, and possibly filing a class action. I think that would really start to wake people up.
Okay, so do you know about arc law and cane law?
Oh, yeah, I do know about those.
Okay, did you reach out to them at all?
I kind of came into it before I knew about arc law, and the other one was can law, right?
Cane law with Eric
Oh, can
Klopper.
law. Okay, yeah. So I wasn't able to maybe move my questions towards them. I should have. I should have just jumped on it. I didn't really.
Okay, interesting. So if you could change anything about the intactivist movement, what would it be?
Oh, good question. Good question. So this thought has been going around my head for quite some time. We're kind of all the groups are kind of spread out. We're just, you got a group way over here, you got a group over here. I think it would be a really great idea if, say, Intact America became the core group and they just brought all the groups into Intact America. I mean, you still maintain your name, still be Bloodstained Man, DOC, all the other ones, but it would bring everything into one core group, and we could have, I guess what I want to say is, get our resources together and push it out even further. It's just an idea that I've thought about.
Okay, so kind of like working together versus
Yeah,
doing
instead of
separate.
separately.
Okay. Well, wouldn't you see an issue with how Bloodstained Men does their protesting versus Your Whole Baby, for instance? It's wouldn't.
Yeah, but if we could be under one roof, we could collaborate. I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Okay. Well, do you think that Intact America, Bloodstained Men, Cockfight, etc., do you think they collaborate at all, or do you think that there's no alliance or collaboration at all, and they're just doing their own thing?
So I think I'm not sure if I've seen this. I might be wrong, but hasn't Cockfight been protesting around where Bloodstained Men have been protesting? I think I've seen that, but I might be wrong.
Yeah, sometimes Cockfight and Bloodstained Men, and even Colorado ABC, they do collabs together.
Okay, yeah, that's okay. Yeah, I just I think we're on the right path. I just think we need to combine our efforts. It's just something I've been thinking about.
Okay, because I would make the argument that we are under the umbrella of intactivism and
Right,
we were spread out from there.
right,
I just think that would be hard because wouldn't the donors want to give money to certain like aspects of intactivism? Because some
right.
people love the Bloodstained Men while they don't like Intact America. Um,
Oh, I see. I see. Yeah,
yeah,
that might pose a little bit of a problem.
yeah. Okay. I'm just wondering, like, I
Oh
don't know
yeah,
how you would resolve that, especially because what if Intact America argues, okay, well, now that we're all under one roof, people should get paid. And Bloodstained
true.
Men's like, oh no, like no one should be getting paid for this. How do you solve those issues?
Right. Yeah, yeah, that would definitely pose a problem. I don't know, make a I guess have like a plan that you kind of have to stick to this plan, have everybody sign off on it. Now I know a lot of people might not sign off of because of what you just said, but maybe that would help. I'm not sure. That's a tough one.
Yeah. Also, what do you think about the Brahim also?
Raheem. That sounds familiar. Have to
So,
remind.
uh, Brahim is the Jewish sect of intactivism. They
Oh
made
yes.
the anti-Semitism contract, right? And
Right.
they wanted all of intactivism to sign it and saying, hey, you can't say this.
Yeah.
And people had some issues with it, arguing it's a freedom of speech problem.
Right.
But like, what is your side on the Brahim Beyond the Bris anti-Semitism contract?
So I think anti-Semitism has been thrown at a lot of things that it doesn't need, that doesn't have any qualifiers. And I think we need to just kind of, we're all in this for one thing, and that is to stop it and, and educate people. I don't think we should have to assign a negative to it. If we could all come together and just don't make it worse by calling it something. And I don't know if that ever would happen, but I kind of wish it would.
Okay. But if you had the choice, I don't know if you even got asked to sign this contract, would you sign this? Would you say, okay, I won't say this about the movement. I won't say there's a bunch of things that you can't say. I'm pretty sure
Right.
one of them is you can't say that, oh, Judaism is the reason why we circumcise boys in America. I think that's one of them. I could be wrong.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's a hard one because I don't want to offend a religious group. But there again, you know, the Jewish faith, that's part of their Jewish faith. And, and in my opinion, and it's wrong, I totally agree with Beyond the Bris. I think over time, if they would be willing to work through that, then I would be all, yeah, I'd be on top. I would totally sign it. As long as there's, again, as long as they're able to work, as long as we can work through it, I guess.
Okay. Another question I have is
Yeah,
why do you think that Forgin is more popular than Bloodstained Men in the polls as of right now?
because I think you are correct, and a few other people are correct in that it is giving men hope to restore what was lost and the complete. You get your original equipment back. So I think that's the biggest part of it.
Okay. So even though Bloodstained Men has 7 times more people, it's it's just that the hope of Forgin is so great that
Right.
the very few people that Forgin has is beating a group that has 7 times more supporters.
Yeah, and I think there are two separate things. I think one is protecting baby boys, which is good. We all should be doing that. And the other one is the restoration of again that which was removed. So, I kind of wish it was more balanced. I wish we had the same amount of people working on the same thing on one side and the same amount of people working on the other side. And yeah.
Okay. How do you think circumcision, if it ever ends, do you think it's going to end?
Oh, that's a tough one. It's definitely our numbers are definitely gonna have to grow, and we're gonna have to wake up a lot more people. So I think over time it possibly could end, but there's gonna have to be laws put in place. I totally agree that it's child abuse. There's no other. It is what it is. It's child abuse. And so once we connect, circumcision with child abuse, I think things will start to change legally, and it will make a lot of people think twice about having that done to their child. That, and again, more activism. I think it's just going to take time. I wish it would take less time, but I think over time it's gonna go to zero.
Okay, so do you think this is going to be a lobbying thing? Because some people say it's going to
Yes.
be hearts and minds need to change. That's what's going to end it.
Well,
Origin's going to end it, or lobbying. And
right.
I don't know what the fourth one is.
Yeah.
I,
I think you're correct. I think hearts and minds is definitely, and then connecting that with lobbying. But it's going to have to be. I mean, I look at a million person march on Washington into a huge lobby. I mean, it's going to have to be huge in order to get the government to change. There needs to be a lot of voices, and we need more voices.
okay. Do you have any like social medias where people can follow you? Do you have like a group that you run at all?
I'm just basically on Facebook. If you just type in Randall Callison on Facebook, Madras, Oregon, I'm there. I try to do a lot of intactivist things, but I'm also doing other things too, like the crisis in the Middle East and all this other stuff. So I wanted to add one thing. I also was trying to get funding for a thing that I thought might actually work and might actually be better. I don't know if you're familiar with Dr. Robert Becker.
Nope.
Okay, so he wrote a book a long time ago called the Body Electric, Electromagnetism and the Foundation of Life. And he found a process where he used a very, very low voltage current into an injured part of your body, whatever it was, and the body would actually regrow everything that was there back. He has a patent online. He's no longer living, but his patent is online. It's the patent actually shows pictures of a gentleman that had lost the very tip of his middle finger, and Dr. Becker used his process to regrow the finger. I mean, the bone, skin, even the fingernail. And I'm thinking, well, why wouldn't that work for foreskin? And the body would use its own resources to actually regrow the entire foreskin. Frenular band, if you're missing your frenulum, it would regrow the whole thing. And I actually sent the patent to Fortune, but I never got a word back.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
I'm so curious on that. How much information do you actually have on that?
So I have the book. If you go to Google and type in Dr. Robert Becker's patent, it'll be the first or second one there, and just download it. You can look at the pictures. You can read everything that he has proposed for this patent. I don't think it got all the way to approval process because I think he died before it got approved or whatever. But he has it. I mean, I don't know. You'll have to look at it, but it's pretty interesting. I mean, injuries like this one guy had a really bad. I don't know. I can't remember if it was his shin or if it's thigh, but he did that process on his injury and it regrew everything, and everything's the nerves regrew back. And yeah, it's pretty amazing. And he did say in the book that if nerves are present, which I believe nerves are present below the scar line, as long as nerves are present, regrowth will occur. So it's all dependent on the nerves.
Okay, so have you tried this in your personal life at all?
Well, no, because this would be having to go to a hospital, they would have to excise around the where the scar is, and then pull the skin forward. They'd have to attach the leads. They would have to. Dr. Becker was actually using silver mesh gauze to prevent infection. It would be a hospitalization, and it would take probably 3 or 4 months.
Interesting. I don't.
Yeah.
Do you think that the hospital would ever go for that if you just
Well,
showed up with $1 million? Like, do this.
I am glad you brought that up because I actually approached OHSU with this idea. And at first she was okay. She was kind of like, okay, yeah, let's figure it out. I'll present this to the board or whatever, and we'll see where it goes. We were actually on the way, and then all of a sudden didn't hear anything from her. So I have a feeling probably the board said, I don't think we're interested in that, which is sad, but yeah.
Hey, if you were gonna do that, I appreciate your sacrifice for the good of all of mankind, you know?
Yeah, if I could do it, I would do it right now. If I had the $1 million, I'd be on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's interesting though that Fortune didn't take you up on that or even like
Yeah, I don't understand why they didn't. I mean, yeah, I don't. I mean, if something actually works and would actually be a little bit faster and a little bit better, and you would get everything there, I don't know why they didn't jump on that. I don't know.
I don't know, man. I think we need to have Fortune on one of these days.
Yeah.
So awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, I did not know that. So this is like brand new information for me.
Yeah, definitely go look that up. It's pretty interesting. It blew my mind. I was like, okay, this is definitely something.
Yeah, and this is like, how old is this technique? Is this
So
recent?
he, hold on, let me get the book real quick. Um, this is the book,
Okay.
and he wrote it in 1987.
Okay,
So he
1987.
and the part where the guy was missing the tip of his finger was back in like 19, I can't remember the year, like 97 or I can't. I'll have to go back and look at it. It gives the dates on the pictures. Though you can see the date right below the picture.
Okay, but it's been like 3 decades, so
Oh yeah, yeah.
it's
It's been a long time.
yeah, this isn't something that just hit the news like 5 weeks
No.
ago.
Oh no,
Okay,
no.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, and I don't understand. I mean, I know there are some hospitals are working with the electrical stimulation of wound healing, and that's great. But we're not really moving. We're not really looking at actual uh regrowing the actual limb or whatever you're missing. So yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Okay,
So, Randall, we are running out of time.
no worries.
Do you have anything that you would like to leave our audience with, or if they could take one thing from this interview,
Um,
what would it be?
yeah, if you're an intactivist, don't stop, and we all need to see if we can get more members on or more people on board. The more people we have, I think we'll be a lot more successful in getting this changed.
All right, awesome. Thank you, Randall. I appreciate your time and you being here.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. That was Randall. If you guys liked him, please share this with your friends or give this a thumbs up. And if you want to see him back on again or have more questions for him, leave a comment down in the comment section down below. Thank you all for watching and have a good one. Bye.